Here we are.
Ohio gozaimasu.
Coming to you bright and early in probably your time zone and what feels like the middle of the night here, but it is actually only 11:30.
Yeah. Feels really late. These days are long. And we're only into a few of them.
Exactly.
Hi.
So, the plan for today, to recap what our recap was before, we plan to do at the beginning of our videos a quick section of highlights, so that will be a shorter amount of time than the entire video.
So you do not have to commit to our detailed rambling.
Exactly. So you can watch the first few minutes of the video, get an idea of what we're up to, and then jump ship if that is all that you're here for. Otherwise, there will be plenty after that where we go into a bit more detail, a closer recap of what we did for the day. Yeah. So stay for as much as you would like. So
today was day 3 in the parks. If you're new to joining us, we are in Japan. And that's why we're doing this.
That's probably a good thing to say.
Yeah. So today was day 3, and so that was a Tokyo Disneyland day for us, and we only have one more day in the Disney parks. So today, of course, all the days at Disney here start very early. Very early.
We're getting 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah, actually, between the two of us last night, I think
less than 7 hours.
Less than 7 hours of sleep.
Yep.
We're going for maybe 7 tonight. Who knows?
Exactly. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know. We come back late and we do a video, and then we get up early in order to be in the park. So got up like around 6 today to be in the park by 7.
We wanted to leave here at 7.
At 7.
Or, yes, because there's a 7 o'clock shuttle. That's the first one. And that was our goal. And we made it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we left the room 5 minutes later than planned, but still made the shuttle and made it like when we wanted to. So we made it earlier than we did when we went to Disneyland on Tuesday. There was way less of a line. We made it through bag check, no problem.
Yes, it actually still looked like there were lines when we got there, whereas our first day we got there, it was just a massive mob. And we didn't really know if we were staying in the right spot, but we were in an actual, like, not like a single file line, but lines.
Yeah. Of note, it was raining.
Yeah.
This morning, we woke up, it was in the forecast, but it was raining. So we got there, and there was like lines of people, but really like lines of umbrellas. After that, though, it was... what did we decide? When did that happen? 20 minutes early, they started letting people into the park. Which was kind of a shock. So then we have like the morning dash, and everybody's like running into the park to get where they want to go and get all their FastPasses and stuff.
Yes.
But then we get to like a second stop. So it was basically like they let us into the main part of the park, but then like all of the ways out of like the main hub into the different lands.
Yeah. It's kind of like rope drop, except there's no rope drop. So if you're familiar with the, at least California, I assume they do it in Florida as well, it's like they'll let you in to a certain point, and then you kind of like follow a rope into the park, and then they have this whole like morning announcement. It was like that, but without the pomp and circumstance of rope drop. It was kind of like, we're going to let you in so that people can run mad dash to... like Jared said, kind of like the entryway to the different lands, but then we're going to stop you again. And then we hung out there until like 5 minutes before opening, and did they let us go then, I think? But it was interesting, and like we have no idea if they did the same thing on our first day, and maybe we got there just late enough that we didn't notice the line shift, and then maybe today we were there early enough to be part of that first wave in. So it's nice because it is such a mad dash, literally people running. Even though
cast members going.
Even though cast members have signs saying please walk, like people are running, and so at least it moves you part of the way in, so you don't have to run as far. I don't know. So we're trying not to run. Is our goal. but still get to what we want. So that was
a bit of a surprise, like let into the park early and then have to wait in line again, and then still like able to go loose on the park before park technically opened. Our goal for the day was to check things off of our list. So on Tuesday, like we pulled out, we pulled out a map and like circled all the things that were like the highlights of things that we wanted to hit, mostly attractions, but then some restaurants and food and stuff. So today was about like making it through the rest of those things, and we did. We made it through, I think, most of the things that we had originally wanted to.
Yeah, and actually we ended up with some extra time today, and so we actually did a couple of things that we hadn't necessarily planned on, like that we hadn't circled. And so as a result, like we didn't get the full additional list done, but everything that we like really cared about in Disneyland, I feel like we accomplished. So that was awesome. It was a very successful 2 days.
We even reprised.
Yes, there you go.
A meal from Tuesday. Where we waited an hour in line for waffles.
Yes, you may recall, but if not, that's fine.
Right, because that was like an hour-long video with no highlights at the beginning. Right, highlights. So yeah, we reprised the meal. We went for waffles again. This time it was only a 30-minute wait, which is completely reasonable for a line in Disneyland. We actually got to enjoy our waffles.
We got to spend more than 5 minutes eating it, which is really nice.
I got ice cream with my waffle this time, which was great.
So yeah, just success. It was really yummy. So that was
good plan.
It was exciting enough executed. And delicious enough to make it on the highlights list.
Exactly.
Waffles. Yeah.
Otherwise.
So Jared mentioned it was raining this morning.
Yeah, sorry to jump the gun there.
No, it's fine because now we can refer to it. But actually the rain let up. Like it kind of drizzled on and off for a little bit, which I think worked in our favor because ride times did seem a little lower today.
They did in the morning.
And so I think like locals, I know Tokyo Disney has a lot of local like annual pass holders that come into the parks. And so I think maybe they stayed home because of the weather, and that helped us out and helped us get through our list. But later in the day, sun came out and the wind started. Like super, super, super blustery. And it was a hoot.
Yeah.
Like,
should check out my Instagram for at least one video. I think one specific video that happened like while the wind was going on.
It was super big. But I feel like, did we get a couple where it was like you could tell there was wind?
But yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
My Instagram, JAREDJONZ.
Yes, check it out because he's posting videos and he's doing it in a timely manner, whereas my Instagram is delayed by quite some time.
Pictures, way more effort. I just pull out the camera, click go. And,
so it's a nice balance. You can follow us both and get the full picture. But the wind was like blowing, like we would hold, like we were taking pictures and like it would like blow our cameras, or like when we were eating, like our trays were like blowing on the table. So it was like trying to like weigh down our food trays with stuff. Like it was strong. It was strong
and fun.
It was fun.
We both actually really like wind. A very blustery day.
I enjoy like the occasional, like my hair is going crazy in the wind, and then it's all like ratty. But it was good times.
So it was a lot of fun. Then our day ended with shopping. It was our last day in Disneyland, so we needed to get any of the Disneyland specific merch. This was our time to do it. So we actually spent some time earlier in the day, like making the rounds, like all the way through again, and kind of getting an idea of what we wanted to buy.
Yeah, because we had learned on the first day in this park. So Disneyland California, you can shop on the Main Street area for an hour after the park closes, and in this park you can only shop for about half an hour after park close. The difference is closing at this park in the stores. And I feel like we mentioned this in one of the other videos, but it's insane. It's a madhouse. Like it's
like the apocalypse has started and people, like, the looting is in full.
It's like there's rows of people like trying to get to the merchandise and it's like flying off the shelves, and so we just knew like that was not the shopping experience that we wanted, especially if we were like trying to find things. And so so we did a loop earlier, which normally in Disney we would never spend time earlier in the day.
That's
shopping.
all for rides because we can handle all the shopping after the park.
Exactly. Like we know there's going to be ample time. But here we just knew that wasn't the case, and we wanted to be able to like see everything before it was maybe sold out because the shelves were wiped out. And it actually worked out really well. Like did a loop and I just kind of like made notes, and then when we were done with our stuff later in the day and it was like, okay, it's time to go hit the stores, we just followed the same path and just grabbed the things off them. We were still there. I thought we would actually leave early tonight. We didn't, but it was because other stuff caught our attention. So I was glad that we were efficient in the shopping and were able to get it all done, like just down to the wire.
Yeah, that strategy for shopping here in Disneyland Tokyo, highly recommend.
Yeah.
Then we ended our night, like the shops surround the World Bazaar area that is super decorated for the 35th anniversary that's happening right now. Yeah,
like they don't have a main street in the way that like the Disneylands were used to have a main street, but it's in that same section, and it's sort of in the same spirit, but they call it World Bazaar.
They have like it set up so that there will be lights and music occasionally that'll come on and like do some stuff. And so that's kind of like how the park like is closed and winding down as well. We were able to catch a number of things today, like unplanned.
Yeah.
And that's one of our favorite things to do in the park as well, are stumble across the entertainment that's happening throughout the park. So this was one of the things, but earlier in the day, we caught a band.
Yes,
in the bazaar.
Love the bands, and
twice.
I really thought that like this Disneyland just didn't have street entertainment, but they did, and we just didn't see it.
Yeah, it was focused around the bazaar, and we spent more time there today.
Yes, so that was awesome. It was kind of like we would hear things and be like, "Wait, is that a band?" And then go join the crowd and listen. Yeah. So yeah, we caught them a couple times and got to hear them play different things.
Exactly.
So that was really fun. And then like right at the end of the night, we're in stores, and it's like we can hear. So like he was saying, the World Bazaar had sort of an ongoing thing all day where they would play. There's a theme song for the 35th anniversary celebration, and so that just like plays all the time. Like it's a loop, but not like constant. It like takes little breaks. But then we heard music, and we're like, this doesn't sound like music we've been hearing.
Longer. We're hearing Mickey's voice.
Yeah, this is different music. So we dropped our shopping and went outside, and they were starting like a show that was projected on the castle.
It was like one of their big nightly shows. And even though we were like in World Bazaar, miles away from the castle, we had a completely clear view of everything that was going on. And they were playing in World Bazaar. They were playing the music for the show.
Yeah,
so that you could
projecting
see it.
the music. Like they had planned it like that way, that you can be in that street and still see the castle and still hear everything.
Yeah. So there were a lot of people just standing there watching it, but completely sparse. Like everybody had plenty of space, and
it's very, very pleasant viewing experience.
Yeah, it was great.
And it was just really fun to catch that. And just a really neat, like we hadn't planned, they weren't doing any fireworks tonight because of the wind. And so we hadn't really thought that we would see any entertainment tonight. So that was kind of like a nice way to end the day. And the show, the projection, interesting, like had features of all the, like a lot of the different rides of the park. And so
especially ones that like never get featured.
Yeah.
Like the projection on the castle is a pretty standard nighttime entertainment now, like across the world. We've been
typically
to
like character driven.
Yeah. And you'll typically hear like princess songs and like songs from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Villains
show
features,
up. Yeah, exactly. But in this case, like a lot of the rides in sort of like a digital, like Mickey's on the ride. Like in a 3D sort of like a digital like way of
so they did
animation.
Like Jungle Cruise and Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Country Bears.
Star Tours. What else was on there?
Yeah.
Like just all the rides.
Yeah, Tiki Room.
Oh yeah, there was like a whole Tiki Room feature, which was kind of fun.
So yeah, a lot of rides that like don't have movies and stuff, and so don't necessarily have soundtracks, like showed up actually in the show. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But that's how our day ended. Nice and magical. And we made it back to our hotel, no problem. And now we're here, which concludes our highlights.
Highlights done.
Exactly. So feel free at this point to return to your regular programming, because
your morning schedule.
Exactly, because it's early there.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna go back to the beginning of our day and go through in a bit more detail what
the play-by-play.
Yeah,
really.
The play-by-play.
Yeah.
So really, at this point, only our moms are watching.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
Okay. So yeah, this morning. One thing that I think is really interesting is like we don't eat in the morning, like when we get up. Like we don't really have any food here. Yeah. I mean, I have like some snacks from the plane.
Yeah, I typically actually make a point of making sure from the day before I bring
points
food back to the hotel with me, so that I have something to eat right when I get up. But this time,
it just really,
I haven't.
Yeah, and we don't really have. I mean, there's a restaurant in our hotel, but not like a grab and go kind of thing. And there's some vending machines in the building, but just drinks. And we're not really near any convenience stores or anything like that. The shopping center has a grocery store, but I don't know, we walked it, we didn't really see anything we wanted.
Yeah.
And, like, on our first night. And so we just don't really have any food in the room. And then when we get into the park,
you need the morning dash. You have to do the morning dash.
Yeah, like, there's no time. And it's so funny because it's like, our days have actually been pretty leisurely. Like, we haven't felt rushed once we get into the day.
Way more leisurely than, like, our typical park
experience. Oh my gosh,
like in Disneyland and California Adventure.
Yeah. Disneyland's a whole different thing, and it is like, we do not stop in Disneyland. But we've stopped multiple times, and we've been, like, letting ourselves take breaks. But there's that opening the time in the morning where you have a mission and you like cannot stray from the mission,
right.
And then once we've like finished all those things, it's like, oh yeah, we should eat something,
right?
So,
exactly.
So that's been kind of interesting.
At some point in the morning, like we're waiting for a FastPass or we're like waiting in line for a ride, like one of us will be like,
now we're hungry. Like,
I am super hungry right now.
Hunger just hit.
Yeah.
So that's been interesting. And yeah, we just don't have a way around that at the moment. There's no time.
Yeah.
There's no time. Oh yeah, so we talked about the delay, like the sort of tiered entry. So we got into the park and
20 minutes early, and then we're stopped on the entrance to Tomorrowland / Fantasyland.
Yeah. And so what we wanted to do first thing was re-ride Pooh's Hunny Hunt, which was the very first ride that we rode on our first day, and it was really cool. It was that trackless ride, and we knew that the Jared had mentioned, like, you kind of go in groups of 4 cars, and your cars kind of split off and like view different things, and so we knew there were parts of the attraction that we didn't see very closely, and so I really wanted to ride it again. It's a really unique ride. It's a really impressive ride, and so that was going to be our FastPass pick for the morning.
Just to answer like your question right away, Melissa, we often do write-ups of our trips. But in this case, we just don't have time.
Yeah, we usually do. Like, we usually both do a version, and we don't read each other's version until we're done writing them, and it's been really fun. It's just really time consuming, and we knew for this trip in particular that because so much stuff has to happen either really early or really late in the day.
We don't have time.
We just don't have time.
So that's why these live
that's
Facebook
what we typically do in New York, where the day is shifted later. Like we rarely have to get up super early in New York. Sometimes we do, but normally we don't, and so we can stay up until like 3.
Yeah.
Finishing our recaps. Yeah. Like our written recaps.
Yeah.
And that's not an option here because we have to get up like before 7 every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. We said earlier in the video. That we got like less than 7 hours of sleep combined, and that's been the past several days.
Yeah.
So that's why we're doing these videos instead. So this is in lieu of actually writing.
And it might not seem like it's saving that much time because these full videos are long, but I think it actually is, because to write everything out in this detail.
A YouTube channel. Maybe once we like get past these first videos where we're just like boring and rambling and to actually figure out what we're doing.
Yeah. So Pooh's Hunny Hunt was our FastPass destination, but we split up briefly.
Yes, right. To get another flavor of popcorn from Disneyland. This was the honey popcorn, and I think like is my favorite of the sweet popcorns.
My favorite of the sweet popcorns is the milk chocolate. Just FYI.
Yeah, this was great. The cart smelled great. The popcorn
smelled really yummy.
Like was great. I enjoyed that a lot. And there was nobody in line, so we were in line for the FastPass. Saw that there was one person in line for popcorn,
which is highly unusual.
It's typically like dozens of people in line,
even at park opening.
Yeah. So there's nobody there. I got in line. They were still popping the first batch. I was the second person they sold popcorn to, and Katrina made it through the FastPass line, and I was waiting there eating my popcorn when she got through.
Yeah. And then, so we got our FastPass, and then decided that we were going to go over to Big Thunder?
Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, yeah.
Big Thunder Mountain Railroad was closed for the majority of the day on our first day there, and then once they reopened, they really just opened it up to FastPass holders. So it was just not even in the cards for the first day. We knew we wanted to ride it today, so we just went over and immediately got in a line that was rapidly forming.
When we got there, it said that the wait time was 50 minutes, and then as we're standing there, like snaking through, like before we even get on, like into the ride itself, it goes up to 60, then 90, then 100. then 120. The last view of the line of the like board before we got like into the line, like it said that the ride was up to 150-minute wait.
Yeah.
But what was cool is that, like I said, when we got there, it was 50 minutes. I actually started a timer, and when we got on the ride, it had been between 45 and 50 minutes.
Yeah, so it's pretty accurate.
Good job with estimation, Disney.
And as we got sort of into where the actual queue is, like on the at the ride, you start going up the mountain, and we could turn around and look at the street, and it was just like the whole street was the line. It was crazy. It was really full. But when we got there, it felt like we were really far away. Like it felt like we did not do a great job of getting there quickly.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like because we were out in the street, but we moved along pretty quickly, and I think
it kept moving.
It was a much better situation than all the people behind us.
In general, here at Tokyo Disney, they're very efficient. Like
except for that first day waffle line.
I don't know what the first day waffle line. No idea what happened there.
And
no idea.
We'd have to go back through our notes to be sure, but that might
right. We were talking today about what our longest wait was in the parks.
Yeah.
And we haven't verified yet, but like the waffles are in the running.
Yeah. We think there's like one ride that might have been significantly longer, but we can't tell because sometimes your perception of time when you're waiting for a ride
in a cavern.
Yeah, in a cave can be not super accurate. Yeah. But Waffles is, if it's not the winner, it's really close.
Yeah. But in general, they're very efficient here. I've been very impressed. Like they rush people on to, like when you're like getting on a ride, like they rush people on, they rush people off. Like they don't even really give you time to like sit down before they're saying to like put the bar down or pull the bar back, and then like you're off.
An announcement like that we aren't usually used to in a Disney park is they will tell you ahead of time, like if you're wearing a backpack, to take it off.
Yeah. They make sure everybody like takes off their backpack or cross shoulder bag or whatever and are holding it so that you don't have to do that while you're getting into the car itself. Yeah. And then we found that the rides actually in general are faster than in Disneyland, especially like the ones that haven't like an analog in Disneyland.
Yeah.
Like it's a similar ride, but like Peter Pan's Flight, like you're booking it through there. So the ride's faster, they get you through there faster, and so like the sheer volume of people is, even though it's so high, like the waits still end up really long, but they're booking it.
Yeah.
So which I appreciate. So yeah, for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, we still did like keep moving pretty steadily through the line. But even like with their efficiency, it still took, 5 minutes.
And so Big Thunder, interestingly for this one, you start like underground.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool. I liked it.
Yeah.
And it kind of went like slow, then fast, then slow, then fast, then slow, then fast. Like if that makes sense. Like you kind of slow down for some story elements, and then you get like your thrill element in. And because they kind of broke into 3 sections like that, it felt like a really long ride. I didn't time it, so I don't know, but it felt long, which was cool.
I think it was legitimately longer, but then felt even longer.
Yeah.
Because of the way that it was split up.
So I'm glad we got on that today because it was a good one. I liked it.
Yeah. We wanted to have waffles for breakfast after that because we were starving by that point. But we went by and the line was really long and we'd been burned before.
It was just, we did not want a repeat of that experience.
So we kept moving and ended up at a bakery where...
I mean, it wasn't like a super successful breakfast for me.
Yeah.
I grabbed something that...
had hidden condiments.
Yeah, it had hidden mustard on the inside, and so that doesn't work for me. Yeah. But I had luckily grabbed an apple... an apple pastry as well. And that was yummy, but not super filling. And this was like the first meal where like our stuff was starting to blow off the table because the wind was picking up.
One of the things I had was a cream cheese pretzel, which is I always get in Disneyland, and I really liked, and I didn't expect to have it here.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was a pleasant surprise. So breakfast. At that point,
what do we do then?
Just a second. I think I'll be doing Disney with Indy in 2 or 3 years.
Oh my gosh!
So I'll know how to be 50 and survive the parks.
I recommend good shoes. Switch out your shoes. Like don't wear the same shoes every day. And I feel feel like core strength is really important.
Because you got to stand a lot.
You have to stand a lot, and
your
so
poor
like
lower back.
you need like posture.
Yeah.
Like, and you'll and
we don't exactly know how to do the park with children. We actually like
that's a good point.
Fairly regular basis. We'll talk about that. It's like we'll go like all day from like pre-park opening to post-park opening.
Yeah.
And like best guess, like
I would say snacks are key, like that you bring, because you do not want to be waiting an hour for food if your kids need food.
Basically on that we only have theories.
Yeah.
We'd be interested to hear how it goes for you in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. We're very excited for that trip. Please keep us posted.
Yeah. Oh wait.
So we had the breakfast, and then where did we go?
It was
after
almost we were almost so when you get a FastPass, 2 hours after you get a FastPass, you're eligible to get another FastPass, even if you haven't officially used the first one yet. So we were at the our window in order to get a second FastPass was available. So we decided to head over to Splash Mountain because Katrina decided that she would risk Splash Mountain, like getting wet.
I like Splash Mountain, but I don't like being wet when it is not really hot and you're not like in walking distance from your hotel.
Yeah, those are both very practical and logical things. But I like Splash Mountain, and I'm willing to get wet anyway and then deal with the consequences afterward. But anyway, so we went to FastPass it. We accidentally got there a couple of minutes early. We like put our ticket in and it said no. So we went further because we were looking.
It actually
for a
prints you a
restroom.
ticket that's like, this is not a FastPass ticket because you are
don't
not
try
eligible.
To use it. Yeah. So we were like 5 minutes early. But we went a little bit further down, like where there was a restroom, but there was also a snack place there that was selling ice cream and churros.
What more could you want?
Yeah, it was great. So I got the like ice cream churro combo. That,
like within 10 minutes of breakfast.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know.
Like a strawberry churro and a strawberry and vanilla, essentially vanilla swirl.
Yeah. And I just had ice cream, the swirl.
Yeah. And
really good.
it was not warm.
You know what was up there? So there was one thing that was on our list to do that we did not get to do, and that was the canoes. And we were going to do that today. They have them in Disneyland. We've done them there. It was a good time. Wanted to do it here to compare, but they were shut down pretty much all day, and we have to assume it was because of the weather. Like, you do not want to be on that canoe in that wind. Like, the wind was
Mine just straight up capsizing.
Yeah, we don't want any canoes.
Even though it's a canoe for like 30 people.
Yeah, we don't want to be flipping canoes. So.
And yes, snacks. We did we've decided like food wise that Disneyland wins snacks. And but Disney Sea wins food.
In Disney,
Tokyo Disneyland wins snacks, and Disney Sea wins food.
Yeah, like for meals.
There are lots of snacks available like in the park, and we made ample use of those.
Yes, many snacks.
Yeah,
all the popcorn.
Yes.
A lot of the ice cream.
Yes. Way less popcorn today.
Yes. Yeah. Popcorn's becoming more strategic. And I just realized we didn't try the black pepper.
Yeah.
But, and I don't know if that's in the other park. That's a story for another time. So we got our ice cream. Then we went back. We got our fast passes for Splash Mountain. And then what did we do?
Went to Hunny Hunt.
Rode Hunny Hunt.
The Pooh ride. The way that the ride works, you have like 4 cars, and we were in the first car last time, and this time we were in the second car, which means we followed the slightly different path, and...
I thought we were further back.
The third car?
I don't know.
I think we were the second car.
Okay.
But, yeah, second or third. In any case, we followed what turned out to be a significantly different path. Only the first car, like, sat over there in the corner, like, rotating and seeing nothing, while the other 3 cars... went and saw all the rest of the Pooh characters. In the first room. Yeah, in the first room. And then we went through and had like a slightly different path in the room where everybody was going all over the place.
Yeah, there's this really cool, like it's like the big room, where it's kind of like the Heffalump featured room, right? And it's kind of like a big dance party for your vehicles. Yeah, like you're spinning
self-driving vehicles that just like
you're twirling around. It kind of takes you to different corners of the room, and it's like a big party. I think there's even like a disco ball in there.
Probably.
I think so. Anyway, so we got a different path in there, and I don't know, that ride's just a delight. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it was lovely. I didn't notice it the first time, but the end room, there's a whole bunch of honey, and it smells like honey.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that the first time either.
Exactly. Maybe it's because
we had the honey popcorn. Yeah. We were very in tune to the honey popcorn scent. They probably just pumped the popcorn carts and
exactly.
There's probably like
it's just connected. There's a
pipe.
tube.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it was. So that kind of concluded like our mad dash portion of the morning. Like those were the things we had to get done first thing in the morning, or the whole day would fall apart.
Yeah.
And so then we do a lot of like, what's next?
Yeah.
Like, what are we gonna do next?
Yeah.
And that was that moment after we got off of Pooh's Honey Hunt.
Yeah. So at that point we checked wait times on an app, and actually we found, probably because of the weather, we decided due to the weather, the wait times were actually fairly on par with Disneyland in California.
Yeah, we were like, these are almost reasonable.
Yeah, like these are like what we're used to seeing for wait times. So because of that, we decided to try Pinocchio, which wasn't on our original list.
But it was a really short wait. So.
Yeah. It was basically like the Disneyland version.
Yeah, it was mostly, I mean, some of the rooms I think were slightly different, but it was basically the same.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit faster. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was probably a lot faster. So then we like walked through some shops and got in the line for Peter Pan, which we just had to wait for.
I mean Peter Pan's always a big wait. That is a ride, like even if you speed it up, the cars are really low capacity, and so you can only get to it's one seat. So depending on, I think, is it always one seat at all the parks, or some of the parks too? Anyway, you can't fit many people in one of those ships, and so like that's just how it is. It's always a slow line, and it's always popular. It's because it's cool.
Yeah. And
because the cars are held up above, which is neat. The track is up above, and you're hanging from it. So yeah, Road Peter Pan, it's classic.
Yeah, exactly. That was a really long line, and for me, the notable part was that I was exhausted. Like, I was almost falling over in that line.
Yeah.
Just, like, couldn't deal with, like, lack of sleep.
This morning, Jared was like, I'm not as tired as I thought I would be. And then Peter Pan, it hit. And
see, to that point, I'm pretty sure I said that yesterday morning.
I think it was this morning.
And exactly, like... little
That's
short,
how these days are.
A little short on sleep over here. Yeah. So at that point, once we got off of
Peter Pan?
Yeah, which has pirates.
It does have pirates.
Once we got off of Peter Pan, we decided to loop back around to Waffles. And the line was the shortest we've seen it.
Oh, yeah.
So we said...
It's meant to be.
Exactly. We stood in the line that time. It was still a 30-minute wait, but it was great. Our waffles were amazing. Had the, like, strawberries and cream waffle again, except I got ice cream this time.
Yeah. For those of you planning a trip to Tokyo Disneyland,
right,
we would highly recommend.
Which we know is most of you.
Yes, all of you watching, highly recommend the strawberry and custard waffle, because the other one, there's maple, like just maple syrup, and there's chocolate. And what Jared pointed out on the first day was, if you get the strawberry and custard, you basically get twice the toppings. Yeah. And that's true.
And then they put, like, the maple just appears to soak into the waffle.
Yeah, and the chocolate probably does a little bit too, but it's like the strawberry and custard just feels like it's more substantial.
Yeah.
So if you're going that route, I highly recommend it. It was very tasty. I had, like, the exact same thing I had the first day. No regrets. It was delicious.
After that, we were near the bazaar, and we heard a band playing, and like ran over there. We talked about that earlier in the video.
Pretty much we can be like mid-sentence, and then I'm like, I think that's a band, and then I like, and then I'm off.
And Katrina's gone.
Yeah. And Jared knows, like, we've split up a couple times, and if like a band is playing, he just knows, like, I probably didn't go where I said I was gonna go, and I'm probably watching the band.
Just go to the band and start looking at the crowd for who's like got her like phone up. You know, one of the 100 people standing there with their phone up. But
yeah, exactly.
But one of the fun things that happened, like, in the bazaar area is, like we mentioned earlier, that the bazaar is decorated for the 35th anniversary, and occasionally music will play and things will light up.
They have this big thing in the middle set up that, for lack of better terms, is like a Christmas tree.
Yeah,
but it's not. But it's not a tree.
Yeah,
but it's that same idea. Like, you've got a big thing in the middle. kind of standing up.
And then sometimes at the end of like the musical performance, it'll just like it'll pop and like these metallic streamers come down.
Yeah. I had seen these streamers tied onto people's bags over the whole time we've been in Disney.
Yeah.
And I knew they had to be from something. I just didn't know for what. Like people were just tying them around their handbags. But so they like shoot out all these streamers, and of course like people are mad dash like trying to grab them all.
Of course. See, that wouldn't have occurred to me to get any of the streamers.
And what's so funny is literally these cast members have no cleanup from every time these streamer cannons go, because
easily in less than a minute
they're all gone. The only ones are ones that get caught on the tree thing or like caught on the buildings. Like some of the buildings have like little fake patios or you know, ledges or awnings, and like some of them get caught up there, but none of these streamers are on the ground longer than 15 seconds. Yeah. And most of them are caught in the air. Yeah. So I just thought that was really funny. Like, you know, you shoot all this stuff out, like, and you think confetti and like what a pain it is to clean up confetti. Well, they shoot out these streamers and everybody
snatches them out of the air, ties
literally
them around their bag, and then go.
No cleanup.
Like,
I grabbed some because I have a confetti jar at home, and it's anytime I'm at a show or a concert where they shoot confetti, I grab a couple pieces and I put it in the confetti jar as like a little souvenir. So, yeah. So that was fun. Now I have one from Tokyo. Yeah. I think that's cool.
So next we decided to investigate the locker situation.
Yeah.
To see if we wanted to like buy stuff and leave it in the locker. Mm-hmm. And ended up not getting a locker.
Yeah, the timing didn't work out. But they had them. Yeah. Sorry. You go.
I'm moving on from lockers.
That's fine.
Okay.
Lockers are boring. We didn't use them. But they're there if you want them.
A really fun thing that happened for me today is on the way there, we passed Cinderella and Prince Charming with a crowd of people around them, and Katrina went to check out the lockers.
Yeah, and kind of in this like weird, like there's nothing down this street except like bathrooms and lockers and like other like service area kind of things, but nothing else. Like it's not, the street doesn't go anywhere. It's a dead end street.
Yeah. So they had like probably a crowd of like 24 people around them, and instead of like having people stand in line to meet them, which normally happens, what they were doing was having like people in the crowd that like wanted to meet them like raise their hand, and then they'd like pick somebody, and then they'd step forward and like chat with them for a second, and then take a picture with them, and then they pick somebody else. But what was fun is I got picked to come forward, and I wasn't actually even volunteering. I noticed at one point like Prince Charming said something to Cinderella, and then they both looked at me. And then, like a couple of people later, they like picked me out of the back of the crowd, and so I got to go forward and like meet them and get a picture with them, even though that wasn't what I was angling for, but it was like a fun thing to like meet some characters and get a photo and stuff. So then we...
Yeah, because we haven't really done like character interactions at this park.
We haven't really interacted with any characters.
No, and like Jared was saying, like, so normally in the US, like any character will have like a queue set up, and here I had read ahead of time that they don't read or heard on YouTube, I don't remember, but that characters don't, there's no like line, like it really is just like a crowd, or you just kind of like follow them and like try to get their attention and call their name, and they might stop and take a picture with you. Although we have seen there are a couple established character spots, but only a couple, and they're like indoors. Like there's that Donald one, I think, and then in the Disney Seaside. And then, there's just very few. So not a lot of character interactions.
Bye, Melissa.
Bye, Melissa.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
So characters, and then was that our round of shopping?
Yep. Shopping.
So like
it was like a slow turn through all of the shopping through the World Bazaar. Yeah. Picking up a couple of shops that were kind of close to there that we hadn't seen yet. Yeah. And making a list of things that stood out.
So like we said in the highlights, this was like a scouting mission just to see what we wanted.
One thing that we hadn't done yet was doing the walk through the castle.
We knew you could get into the castle because we had seen people exiting the castle like down some stairs. So we knew you could get in.
Down the back of the castle.
Yeah, we knew you could get in. We just hadn't investigated how. So we decided to go do that.
We headed for the castle, but got stuck in front of the castle taking pictures of ourselves with the castle.
And the wind, because it was windy.
Maybe some other people that were there in matching outfits.
Yes, matching outfits.
then
Still going strong.
by the time that we were ready to go to the castle, they'd like roped it off.
Oh yeah, we're like, oh, we missed our chance.
Yep. So we had to walk the long way around the castle to get to the back.
Which ended up being better anyway, because that's where the line was.
Exactly. And
we
we got there not too far ahead of when the
shut it
ride
down.
actually like closed for the day.
Yeah, because they shut down the castle. So what it is like Cinderella and Prince Charming are away, but they have opened up their castle to the people.
Mm-hmm.
So generous.
The people.
They were away meeting you down a dead end street.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so, but it was only open till 4, and we didn't know that, so we were at very
like
high risk of missing it.
3:55.
Yeah, we are really glad because I really wanted to go inside.
Yeah. So we made it in. It was very pretty. There were a number like the outside of that, like outside of the main hallway walkway through the castle.
The tunnel
has
through the castle.
like mosaics, and then when you get inside, they have like kind of Cinderella's story picture by picture.
But not until you take an elevator to the second floor.
Oh yeah, exactly. So you have to get up there.
We walked in to like out from we went inside.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. We went inside, and the first thing I see is this elevator, and I'm like, I did not know Cinderella's castle had an elevator. What a nice feature.
Yeah. You end in like a very pretty like round room that's there's a throne, like Cinderella's throne. There's
there's like photo op stuff.
Ottoman to sit on where you can like there's a glass slipper, and all the little girls were sitting there while their parents took pictures of them. Like very cute.
They're all so cute.
Yeah.
Like they're just all
They'll
adorable.
like sit down and like pull off one of their shoes and like put their shoe next to the like glass
some
slipper.
Some of these kids like know how to pose for that shot too. Like it was, some of them were on it, and then some of them were like too tiny to try to sit up on the little stool, and they were so cute. Right.
So meanwhile, this whole time we've like parked it on the side of the room. We just sat down in the middle of this admiring the room, but mostly just like
this room's so pretty. We're gonna sit down on the floor.
Yeah, we're real tired. Like my feet are so sore.
And we were like, they'll just come kick us out eventually. Yeah, it's fine.
It's like this ride's almost closed.
Yeah.
But we did like admire the room for a while. And
then, it was very pretty, and it was just kind of nice to just like take in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta rush through everything
from the floor. Yeah. Behind the crowd of people standing in line for the glass slipper.
We stayed there because we wanted to, not because we couldn't get up.
Exactly. So then we left and had like we left, and then we were up at the top of the stairs that people would come down, and there was like a gale force winds blowing through that like area.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was crazy. That's one of the, I think that's like the windiest video that is on my Instagram account. Yeah. This windiest story. And then we like walked down from the Yeah.
But then it was funny because we walked down and then had another moment of like, what are we doing?
Yeah, exactly.
And so we're just standing there in the wind, and it was like, well, let's go somewhere.
Somewhere where it's
like,
less windy.
Around a corner or in a store or something, and figure out what we're doing next. Did we snack it next? Was that snacking?
Yeah, we decided we wanted to snack. On the way to the snack, though, like all this wind's happening, like side note, we had, like we suddenly look and there's like money.
Yes.
Like, there's like a bill in the wind.
We see something like fly away, and I was like, that's money. And then this kid starts freaking out.
This kid that's probably like 12.
It's very sad.
Yeah, like with like his little brother who's probably like 8.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bummer because if it was a bill, it was at least like the equivalent of about $10.
Yeah.
So, and it just flew.
Yeah, like up into the air and up and then over a building, and he like drops his stuff and takes off running.
He did.
Like,
and I felt so bad. Like I kind of stopped because I was like, well, maybe we can grab it, but it just got higher and higher, and then it went over rooftops.
Yeah.
So
we don't know how that story ended, but
probably not well.
But you know, takeaway, it was windy.
Yeah, it was very windy.
We went and stood in line for a snack that we had wanted.
We had our eye on the snack since our first day in the park.
The line was always really long, but it was now or never. So it
actually moved pretty quick.
Yeah, it was.
We don't know the name.
It's like a long breadstick with chocolate filled. A chocolate breadstick filled with chocolate.
Yeah.
I think that it kind of tasted like a chocolate Pop-Tart.
Yeah, and I decided to think of it as a warm cookie,
which is a great way to think about it. It made it taste even better.
Yeah,
like once you like frame that in your mind, you imagine you're eating a cookie.
It's almost like if you took a lava cake and then like made it into a cookie. So like the cake becomes more cookie-like, and then the filling becomes slightly firmer.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I feel like I've had
And then it's
something
warm.
exactly like that. But now I'm not remembering.
Was it earlier today?
It was. It was. Yeah, exactly.
So I thought it was good. I do not remember what it's called.
No. No. We just kept calling it that snack.
Yeah. So. And
I meant to like go look up the name again, and didn't care enough
like
to like
I could
walk
give you
back
letters. There's definitely T's.
Yeah, maybe an R.
Like
an F. I don't know.
It's 2 words. We can play charades.
Yeah.
It's 2 words. Second word might be tort or torta, but not torta. Anyway.
I feel like I would remember torta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beside the point. That's not the important part.
We should pick up the pace.
Yes.
So then we decided that food should happen. Dinner. We decided on pizza from a place that was right next to where we got ice cream during the parade the other night.
Yeah.
And it actually turned out really
It was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was surprised because, as we said, food just we don't like big on snacks, not less on food at this park. But
like
it was good.
Bacon and pineapple with a couple different kinds of cheese.
And these like cheesy potato things, basically like hash brown bites.
Hash brown bites. Yeah, it was great. So from then we had an hour until our Splash Mountain pass was available. So we had a couple of options and decided to go to the Jungle Cruise. Yeah. So waited in line for that, and I actually was really happy that we did. It was all in Japanese.
But before we went over there, we got hot chocolate.
We got hot chocolate. It was life-saving.
It was so good.
It was amazing.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I loved that it was super chocolatey. Like, so they had given us spoons, and the spoon was like, I was like, what is this for? And Jared was like, oh, she
mimed to me that it was for stirring.
And I was like, oh my gosh, does that mean there's like chocolate settling on the bottom of the cup? And there was. It was so good.
Yeah, so thick melted chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really tasty.
It was a little darker than I prefer.
Yeah.
But it was hot. So it was like, so I'm here for the hot, and you're here for the chocolate, and we're both happy.
Very good.
Yeah, it was life-saving. So stood in line with at Jungle Cruise, like drinking that. And then, so we got on the ride. The whole shtick of Jungle Cruise is that it goes through, like you're on a boat, it goes through this waterway with like these animatronic animals that are really out of date. So the skipper of the boat just cracks corny jokes the whole time. So that's what happened, I assume, but it was all in Japanese. But it was fun. They had like different like lighting options that they don't normally have like during the day, because at this point it was dark.
Yeah, it's dark.
So like really enjoyed that kind of twist on it.
Yeah. And it seemed like our skipper was very funny.
She was. I mean, there were times that like I at least was laughing even though I had no idea what she was saying.
She was like reacting to
some physical
stuff.
humor.
Really funny.
Exactly.
And the rest of the boat seemed to think she was really funny. So we had a good time. Then
it was time for our FastPass finally. We went to Splash Mountain with a bit of trepidation because, we could get very wet.
But I pointed out that we hadn't actually seen a lot of people walking around in the park wet.
Exactly.
Which I feel like you do at other Disney parks. Like, you're like, oh, they went on Splash Mountain.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe you don't get wet on Splash Mountain here.
We were optimistic. So we went on it. Takeaway, we didn't really get very wet.
No.
We went down the big splash, and then
I
blocked my face.
In the face and like hair.
Yeah.
We were also in the back of our car though, so that might have had something to do with it. And we both don't ride Splash Mountain very much, I guess, or very often in the US, so we can't really speak to a comparison. I do think it was different. I think it was longer.
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
There was this really great moment where we come out of like the first round of tunnely cave things, and it kind of like opens up, and like 2 seconds into it, Jared realized something.
I don't remember.
He realized we were outside.
Oh my gosh. we like came through this thing, and I look up, and I'm like, how are they doing this?
So
like
realistic.
The sky is so real. And then I realized we were outside.
He's like, there's stars and clouds
and depth, and it somehow extends beyond the like scope of like where we're like this room that we're in. It was like blowing my mind for about 3 seconds. And then I realized that we were just outside and it was the real sky.
I mean, we were talking about the other day, it's
gosh.
really hard to tell what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
So that was real. That was real outside.
I'm also very tired.
So yeah, so that was great.
That was probably my favorite ride moment of the day. I'd totally forgotten about that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. And so then we had some errands to run.
We basically started this soon when we were part of the evening.
Yeah.
We essentially just shopped from then to the end of the evening.
Yeah, there were like a couple stops before, like the bulk of the shopping was going to happen in that World Bazaar, Main Street area, but there were a couple other things we had to pick up along the way. I don't know that the details of those are super interesting, but we got almost everything we needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was pretty successful.
Yeah. That's basically
that's
really
the
rest of the day.
I mean, there's not much else really to share there.
Yeah. Bought things, like came home, spent too much money probably, and
yeah, but who knows how much, because
it's in yen.
It's in yen, and who knows what today's exchange rate is?
Exactly.
I didn't look at it today.
So you never, these days you never know.
It's a surprise.
Yeah.
So
All right, yeah. That brings us to the end of our day.
Yeah, and that took us right up to the close of the park, and it was a good couple days in Disneyland. I would say, again, for those of you planning a trip to Tokyo Disney, the 2 days was very comfortable. Like I said, like we had a lot of downtime when we weren't like rushing. We said a couple times, just like between ourselves, that it's like, this park is really laid back, except for when it's not, and you have to be like running to get somewhere. I actually had I tried to take video of today of people just running for stuff, because when I turn quickly and like make my way when I hear like a band, but when that celebration music would start in the and like the streamers would shoot out, like people were legit running for the streamers. So
I think I might have had a video of running today on my a story on my Instagram account.
Yeah.
So you can check that out.
But we had downtime. Like we were very leisurely when we had our meals in this park. We had many moments where we were like, well, what would you like to do next? And then we're like, well, let's just check the wait times and see what's happening.
We plan like our next move or two through the day.
Yeah. So 2 days was really comfortable. I think if you really were short on time, you could hit like the highlights in one day.
Yeah.
If you were strategic in the morning.
Yeah, and you just know that you're not going to see probably most of the park.
True. And then I would say, like, if that's your plan, like maybe you've been to Disney parks in the US, so you kind of have an idea of how FastPasses work, and then maybe you're willing to skip some of the rides where there might be like overlap.
Yeah.
Like maybe you skip Jungle Cruise in that case.
Yeah.
Maybe skip Splash Mountain unless it's one of your favorites.
Peter Pan,
yeah, even though like Peter Pan's great all the time, but like there's definitely rides you could cut and then just hit sort of like the things that are really unique to the park, and you could probably successfully do it in one day if you needed to. But 2 was nice because then we got to see everything. That's probably not going to be the same advice we give for Disney Sea though. Yeah. So stay tuned for that.
Which is where we'll be tomorrow. So any last things?
I don't think so, and I don't think we had any additional questions. If you have questions about our trip or about the parks, we'll do our best to answer them. You
can post them as a comment on this video.
Whatever.
Once it's on Katrina's profile.
You can ask whatever you want, and then we'll decide whether or not we're willing to answer.
As a side note, again, the format that we're following for the video is that for our videos is that the first few minutes will be like highlights of the day, and then we go into this really long recap after that. So if you've tuned in some here at the end or made it to the end with us, and know that you could go back to the beginning and just watch the first few minutes, or tomorrow you can just watch the first few minutes of that video. And I'll update the description of the video with what the highlight sections are. And Lori, yes, that would be amazing. She thinks we should just do this full time. Sure. I would love it. If you want to bankroll that. If there's anyone watching who would like to sponsor us, we are happy to take sponsors. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Please message us. Yeah. DM us. All right. Well, until tomorrow night. Tomorrow is our last day in the Disney parks. And then we're going to head into real Japan. The rest of Japan, where all the things will be real. Yeah. We will, including the sky. I think there's a lot of ramen in our future. Yeah. Because that ramen we had our first night was so good, and I suspect Japan has a lot more of that for us. So. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. That's it. We'll see you tomorrow. Yep. Have a great day. Bye. Bye.